But to get that there is the air called ba'atzmas hamar mamash, which is not a metzias of air. That's the air the way it is in the darga of Yechelis. Yechelis is not a metzias. Yechelis is that the etzem is not mugder. The mitzad, the fact that etzem is not mugder, so he's yachal lahayr. There's no metzias of air as a separate, as another metzias. Air, we speak about the regular musik of air is that there is the etzem, there's the atta, the way it says before. There's the etzem, which is higher than mitzias, higher than being mispashet, being murgish and elamis. It's beyond expression. That's the the way it is ba'atzmai. And then there's the way it's murgish and mispashet and elamis. It's murgish and nirgish and elamis, so it's already nirgish in a mitzias. It's nirgish and elamis. Oh, that's the krach daled. It's gefunden. It's gimel. Both of them. So it's murgish already in elamis. That's the gather of gilui. So gilui, it says before, when the Indian, when the ereliki is mispashet and it's nirgash and elamis, it's a makar l'mitzias elamis. It's not mushta legamri from shaychus elamis, because the air comes in a form of being meir in a way that Velt is able to be margishit. So even though the air is what's nirgash in there, that the Eibush has ein sof, but it's ein sof the way it's nirgash, the way it's mispashet in elamis. If it's mispashet in elamis, so there must be a musik of elamis. If it's a musik in elamis, if the gabi the air that was meir the way it was be'etzim, which the gabi the etzem there is l'chatchila no musik of elamis, then it's not meir and elamis. Yeah, that's what you said before. Then there's the mitzvah air called atzmas amar mamish is the air the way it is in the pchina v'chelis. That means you have atzmos, and atzmos is not mugder. So there's the keach in atzmos that be yecholti laher. The aspect in atzmos, so to speak, where is not mugder. Von em can sein air. That's not a mitzvah of air. That's the fact that atzmos is not mugder, and mitzvah atzmos there could be air. And there's the way the air is there. That's not a mitzvah of air. That's the way the air is one with atzmos. The way we look at it, it's common problem which needs to be understood, but I'm saying the saved over that he says is they have the pchinas air the way it is in the darga of Yechelis. The same way you understand. The fact that atzmos is biyacholti lahoyer. It's not an additional metzias to gabi atzmos. It's not the pshat that there's atzmos, and then there's another thing that biyacholti lahoyer. Atzmos avada is not mugder, so avada biyacholti. He has the biyacholti lahoyer. He's not mugder, and you can't say that he's lacking the Yechelis lahoyer. Savada atzmos biyachoti lahoyer, and atzmos the air the way it is in that degree, that's called era kol b'atzmos hamar mamish. So it's verstehen that we spoke about last time. So it's not the pshat that the yechedus lahoyer if it's a head that there has to do with the tnu of air, so it's really not an atzmos mamish. That's mishnagad at the minyan, but that's we're holding by the hinei shlemer. Yeah. Hinei shleimar there's beis madreg is a pchinas air. Kumeshu bezgalus. The way the air is already bezgalus, the way the air is mortgaged, the way the air is babigilui. There's two madregas in air. Levat pchinas air k'mishkol b'mar. Part is b'riness for seconds where is of mamish k'nal. Part is the mevargman that in air in sof there is the in of for seconds v'kakos up in al bezid drushim the shaykh spheres beir in sof. So first he says the chlal shaykh the musik of spheres. Spheres means the mitzvahs of chachma v'chesed, but not as a spheres. Al Rebbe says the shaykh spheres be'er, but Al Rebbe's mazvah shaykh spheres be'er, but shalei yesh misper spheres. Yeah. Because be'er shishmei melach is a maslavar in dilik saviyad rab zal the ba'atzmas in shaykh spheres. Aval be'er shaykh spheres means when you're dealing with the inik meishu la'atzmei the way it's higher than gilui, in sof the way it's higher than gilui, the etzem of in sof is higher than spheres. When you're dealing with the gilui in sof, how when pshaz the in sof is mispashet v'nirgash. So V is mispashet v'nirgash, the Ein Sof Velikus. That there could be sphere, there could be bleak vol spheres. It's can sein alles. There could be mitzad the fact that the Eibush is Ein Sof and B'shasta steht begilu b'espashtos. So what's nirgash? Then Mishapshitas Velikus, there could be ribui. It could be bleak vol. There's not agbolet. It could be bleak vol spheres. Leish mispel spheres. Those are taught it up. Aval ba'er shaykh spheres because it is where the gilia Indian, not the way the Indian is bad. There's galus and there's spashtos in there shaykh spheres. Elo shleish misper spheres. Vor makamacher. She's a massive gam kimash kosu b'tzchaim shel mal perigimol. So even though they says there, image kosu sham shena kavana sham. Image kosu sham shena sham dumus spheres kosu sham klal. Kavana shena sham spheres klal. Sharim kom kim kosu kilu nemer machash machash beinsof. So here, the Rebbe Shvasidin starts being mavayir that there is the musik of Esher Spheres Nelikus. That's what we start speaking over here. He's touches this mufurish later. We'll see in a minute. He says like this. Image question shem to spheres chas shalom klal. Ina gavash shem spheres klal. Shar mekom kim kosik piliner machash u'machash bein sof. Like kavana rishul in spheres bein sof. Av gam kish kosik v'partis k'mosh lachol mishkanal. So even though that the in its Chaim state, even though the Alter Rebbe says that there's no Musa Spheres Chas Shalom Klal, that there's no Spheres Neliku, even though in its Chaim state there's no Musa Spheres in Ein Sof, Afal became, in Pardes it says it's Esses Spheres Musa Spheres Ein Sof. That's the Ramak in Pardes. That in the Kitzvah Arizal state that there's Ein Sham Musa Spheres Chas V'Sham. There's no Nekud of Spheres in Ein Sof. Of them Zok the Rebbe was saying here that the Eitz Chaim says that Ein Sham Musa Spheres Chas Shalom Klal, it's not. It doesn't mean that there's no Musig of Spheres Klal. Not in the Eif in the way that Ramak says it. This is already being metavich. The Alter Rebbe says in Ksav Yad Rabzal that there's Spheres in Ketz. That we'll see later. But now he's saying that's not Esses Spheres. The part that says that there's Esses Spheres like Nuzes Bein Sof. That's already a misper Muslim of Esser, not in a code of Ein Sof Spheres. That's a different Indian. The Ramak says there's the Sheidish Shumakir. We have today that there's 10 general types of Shleimusim, or 10 types of G'dorim of Metzias, 10 types of Inyanim, which that is the klal for all the Inyanim which we have in the Bria. All the Tchunas that we have in the Bria is all, you say them as these 10 Tnuas of Chabad, Chagas, and Hi, Malchus. So those Inyanim, the Sheidish Harishin is the way the Esses Spheres are colonnading stuff. As I state in Ramak, in Paradise. And the Rizal says, Nishtai Zam Sartinian. So Alter Rebbe says there's Musik of Spheres, that's in Sof Spheres. Leish Mispel Spheres. That's Fetazah. But he says, even according to what it says in Kisvei Arizal, that Ein Shayach Shem Tmus Spheres Chas Shalom Klal, but he's not being shailing on some Ramak. That's what he's saying here. Ein HaKavana Shein Shayach Shem Spheres Klal. Shari Mekom Keshet in Eitz Chaim, Kilu Nemer, that there is a Musik of Malchus or Malchus Bein Sof. Elamai, so Lepoel, he says that Ein Shayach Shem Tmus Spheres Chas Shalom Klal. The Chori Shelo the Ramak. Of them Zakter la Kavana Lishli in Spheres Bein Sof. Av Gam Kishkos of Pardes Kamosh Lachol Mishkanal. The Pardes says that what's the moshel of Spheres in Ein Sof? The Mitzias of Esses Spheres you don't have in Ein Sof. It's that it's al derech the Eish the way it's Bekoyach and the Chalamish. There's no Mitzias of Eish. Is that the Chalamish Bekoyach is al derech and Esses Spheres in Ein Sof is the fact it's that the fact that Ein Sof could be expressed through Esser. It's a prat in Ein Sof. Of them Zakter they said before already. Tzir Ein Sof is lavim called inim b'disiyu klal. There is no yachas and mashaykin the tzura chalamish the gabi the keich eish lepoil. It's a mugger for eish. You can't see the musik of eish has no erech klal to the Evan because the Evan is a mugger for eish. Mashaykin here we want to say like abichsidis and that's what the Arizal holds that gabi Ein Sof there's a whole musik of spheres is not a mitzvah. Lavim called inim b'disiyu klal. Atzilus vasiyah b'shava the gabi Ein Sof. The Chachman and Malchus is b'shava mamish the gabi Ein Sof. That means that the spheres are not an Indian. It's belikvul klal. It's be'en arech klal. Yeah. So you can't even say the musik of tzura chalamish. So Yivasi Lepoil he says that the Arizal is not in Ganza. He's shelo the Ramak only in the eifin of spheres through the marshal of chamachal chalamish. But lehin kamei shemis. You have as a spheres in the eifin of shemis. What's the beer in that?
Even shemis is lower, not.
It's higher. Shemis is that.
Is even higher.
Yeah, it says before. Yeah. That's a different Indian. There's leish misal spheres that means that the pshitas of alakos could be anything. There's two ways that pshitas could be expressed: shlilas hamatzir, shlilas hatzir, or blig any tzir. Not a specific amount of tzir. Any tzir is blig vol. So no in the Indian. But here he's speaking about the get that these inyanim should be an Indian of esses spheres. Chachmat malchus. That's in of tzir, in of gvul. Ein Sof Spheres is not a gather of gvul. It's bligvul. It's bligvul the way it's expressed. That there could be anything. It's a whole different Indian. Here, Esses Spheres is a tzir of Esses Spheres in of gvul. So of them Zokter, even the Fida Arizal, there is Spheres the way they are in Ein Sof Shalifnei Atzimtzum. But there, it's not a but it's a different type of marshal. It's a marshal of Shemis. Means Mitzad Echad, we're saying that Legabi Ein Sof Spheres are no Metzias at all, and there's no Makir for Spheres in Ein Sof. Because Ein Sof is Pshitis, and Tachas is Pshitis, and Spheres is Tzir, is Gvul. And Ein Sof is Shlilas Gvul. Ein Sof is Ein Sof, Pshitis, not Tzir, not Gvul. But there is a musik of Sfiris and the Eifin of Shemus. Let's get them a virus.
If it's a way of Shemus, and it's not in a way of like Shalayish, Sfiris.
Right, that's what you're saying. This is a mushroom for Esses Sfiris. Yeah.
So you can't both, so it's both are...
We're going to see he's going to be Mevar. With it, it's Chaim, the Shaylo is only not like the mushal of Tzurach Halamish. Mushal Tzurach Halamish is you can't say that the Evan is the Gamri Mufshit from a Yachas to Eish. Eish is the Inyan Legabe the Evan. That type of Yachas, that Sfiris, Chachma v'Chesed, has some type of Erech to Ein Sof, that you can't say, according to that result. Misal Rebbe says in Tanya that even though we say that Huvach Chmasi Echad, but that's Dafkin Atzilus. But the Malam Atzilus, Ein Sof Merem Musnase, Remus Inkes Malam Husam Chinas Chabad. That means, in Parshas you say, what's the Chisar in the Parshas of Chabad v'Chagas Legabe Ein Sof? Because it's Gvol Legabe Bligvol. But Gvol Legabe Bligvol is not a mitzvah in Arech. It's Chacham Chesed is an Inyan. You say it's only you say the marshal of you have $10 legabe 10 prutas legabe bligvol prutas. Let's say it would be unlimited amount of money. Unlimited is shalei be'erech talim. They say 1,000,000 and 100 has some. There's an erech between them. There's 100 is closer to 1,000,000 than 10 is to 100 to 1,000,000. The unlimited, a 2 billion is not going to get closer to unlimited than a million is. I mean, a bigger misbar is not a percentage of unlimited amount. Yeah, so there's no erech on one hand, but leidach, it's not a mitzvah in erech, because why is 1,000,000 shalei be'erech to bligvol, the unlimited amount? Because what you have is not worth anything, or because you only have it in a limited form. It's not that the inyan that the prutas, let's say, represent is nothing. The inyan is the inyan. You just have it in a limited way. And the Eldian has it in a unlimited way. That's not the midah in arech. That's also the midah. It's not the midah in arech. The chisarn of Chabad v'Chagas legabe insav is not Chabad v'Chagas is a lukus bigvol, and really a lukus is not only Chabad and Chagas. A lukus is bligvol, not only a limited form of shleimus, but is unlimited shleimus. So not the Chabad v'Chagas is nothing. Chabad v'Chagas is a certain. It's an Indian chiyuvi. There's a certain mile in Chacham Binadas, a certain expression of a mile, but it's a limited mile. Sheikh and the Eivish there is bligvol mile. It's much more than he says. Lavim kol irim midasiyu klal. Then we could use the mashal of Tzurach Halamish. That means there is some yachas between the Ein Sof and the Sfiris. It's the Ein Sof is the Indian the way it is without Agvolis, and you have the Indian is with Samsim and Eifin of Gvol. Then there's some yachas between the Tzurach Halam between the Ein Sof and the Sfiris. He says Lavim kol irim midasiyu klal. The pshat is Ein Sof. Legabe Ein Sof, the whole gather of Sfiris is not a mitzvah. It's like you say Ribi Ofar legabe prutas, legabe kesev ezov. So the chisarn is not that it's too little. There's no inyan l'chatchila. It's nish kin zach. The etzem mitzvah is nothing. So derech zeh, the musig of mailus u'shleimus is not an inyan. What's considered in seichel, it's considered a mitzvah samaila. Legabe Ein Sof, that whole gather of mitzvah doesn't exist. Ein Sof is a whole different inyan. Lifnei tzimtzum is a whole different gather of mitzias, and the musik of Maila, which is a mitzias lachet tzimtzum, that doesn't exist lifnei tzimtzum. Therefore, what's morgish lifnei tzimtzum? The chelas atzmos. It means it's nergish that there's no inyan of blig vol, there's no inyan of gvol. There's neighbishter, which is Ein Sof, not a Maila of blig vol, not a musik. It's a whole different inyan. That's herzach lifnei tzimtzum. So Sfiris is kein inyan nicht. The gabi this inyan. But so the yachas, you can't say that Sfiris is an Indian. Lifnei tzimtzum is nirgash. He said, like I said before, that the air is kolu ba'amar. Lifnei b'cholos erish lifnei tzimtzum is nimchina v'chelas. What's nimchina v'chelas? That's nirgash that there's no Indian outside of the Eibishter himself. There's no Indiana. There's no miles. The Eibishter is not mugdar. So Eberville is there's air, and this nirgash in that air is the mitzvah apshitis. No Indian of mitzias. Shlilas mitzias the tachlis. So the mashenkin la'ach you say. So even Ein Sof as a mile, Ein Sof as an Indian, Ein Sof as a teir of blig vol, that's the air is hecher from lifnei tzimtzum. It's a mitzvah apshitis, a mitzvah shlilas hatzir. So Avdem Zakter, but after begin it says here, so that's the mashal of Tzurach Halamish pasnish. But was past the mashal of Shemus. There is a Sfiris lifnei tzimtzum, a neifin of Shemus. That is going to be bad.
That's
Mishkas Babir then is at base of the air. Saltrez and Varder bin na Shvachim Shekere Mesis Barech B'Shem Chakim V'Chosid the Kai Gavne. Yeah, when davening, we say shvachim. Okay, la gadol, la giber, v'aneira. And we say in Paschalio, we say antu chakim, antu mevin. So he says, sheme'erim bezeli is maitzel b'chinas hachachim. Through a yid calling the Eibishter chakim, mit dem tutur uf, that there should be la maila that solo b'chinas hachachim. Before the yid is kreide b'shem chachim, there's the Eibishter's ein sof, there's no yachas to chachim b'chol. B'shas a yid ruft to meis b'shem chachim, me'erim bezeli is maitzel as olvern the b'china of chachim. That's what he says here. He says, so this is not an Eifin of Surah Chalam. Surah Chalam is you have the Keach HaEsh. Here you don't have a Keach or anything. This ain't sof. When you call him Vatzach Uvgetan, Lifnat Simsum, what's the pshat that there's Esesfir Sagnuzis? Before Esesfir Sagnuzis, even if you call him Chacham, you call him a word that doesn't exist. La'acher, there's a dargan in such Lifnat Simsum that Shen Gevarn Azam Esert Inyan, that if you're going to call him B'Shem Chacham, vet verem B'chinas HaChacham. Vet Eshnes Chadesh verem B'chinas HaChacham. But before you call it, it didn't exist. It's a whole different type of mashal than the mashal Tzurach HaLamish. None of certain in the Ganzen. You have to understand what's this chadish, what exactly happened here. But he's saying that when mishapchem b'shem chachem, midem vert b'chinas hachachem. So what was there before? The fact that if you're going to call him chachem, vet veren chachem, that's already called esesfir segnusis. There's names. Brings a mashal al derech. You say calling a person's name. Brings later. What happens when a person, before a person has a name, you have no way to relate to him. Without a name, so you have no way to relate to this object. You have no way to communicate. What happens when you have a name? So then when a person has a name, when you call a person's name, it's going to turn right, it's going to turn left. So when a person gets a name, it's nischadish, a mucker in his nefesh to turn to this person and to turn to that person and to turn to that person. He turns, he directs himself towards the person that called him by his name. So when a person gets a name, there was nischadish now a mucker for all the pniyas that he's going to get. Nothing changed. The same person before. Before he had a name, there was no way to relate to him. Now that he has a name, nothing was nischadish but. The fact you have the name is that if you're going to call him, he's going to turn. But before you called him, there's some mucker through the fact that he got a name. There's a mucker for turning to that person. Mucker. The name is just a b'shas. What's nischadish geworden is we're going to call him once he has a name. If you're going to call him by the name, we know he's going to turn. But the fact that you got the name, nothing was nischadish in the mitzvah Adam. So that's what he says. A marshal legabi shemis. Esesfir segnusis is that there is musagim of esesfiris. Not that there's nischadish geworden dem inyan. That if you're going to call the Eibishter Chacham, that net sal verem b'chinas hachacham, that verem b'chinas hachacham. To see what the pshat. I'm just saying the guf. So it's all different mashal than Tzurach HaLamish, and under certain in the Gans. Yeah, we have to see what the pshat is.
Those words.
That's what it says. That's the lashon that it says. He says later. Yeah. I'm saying just first. The first thing I want to bring up the word shemus is that when a person gets a name, nothing changed in the person. Saying what happens after you call a person by his name? He's nifna l'kayreh. When he gets the name, there was no haschala of nifna. The haschala of nifna started in Eidel Ha'eifim when he got a name. No. There's the echetimtze that if someone's going to call him, vet besvern. The name is just what happened when he got a name. That if you're going to call him, vet yemot besvern. But before you called him, nothing happened. That's the nekudah we have to know. That by Tzurach HaLamish, there is the Keach HaEsh in that. Mashiach here it says Sfiris Segar and Shishta. It's only B'chinas Shemis that it's nischadish geworden. That if you're going to call him Chacham, to nimshach v'enim B'chinas Chacham. Yeah, we'll have to see what the Avan is. I'm just saying the. So by the mashal, by the Adam, when you call him B'Shem Chacham, me'erem is Keach HaHelam level legilim. Adam hariyu Chacham b'Helam. It means he has the Keach HaChacham. You're going to call a person which doesn't have B'Helam. The Keach HaChacham means he's not a Chacham. He doesn't have the Tchunas HaChacham. You call him for today, tomorrow Chacham with the Garnish Shtalf. Someone that has the Tchunas HaChacham. And meruftem Chacham ruft ma'areis the milus HaChacham that he has within himself. So Adam hariyu Chacham b'Helam gam kedim shem shapchim eisi. Hainu shesh b'kech Chacham b'Helam. Mikolon kem kedim shekra'u Chacham lo hoy yedei ba'atzim yichachmase. He brings a dugma to the nimshal. Shadei hashvachim ezgalam es sichlim chadashim shelo hoy kedim chulu. Okay, that's been kilu. When you get to the mashal, wie viel the shaykh is when you get to a person So you have this inner that is nischadish that he should know about his chachma. But the inner existed be'elam. But when you get to Ein Sof, be'emes kenu. Shadi kriyas shem levad nasek aviyachol chacham. The Hachodesh matzal era chachma. The fact in the Lukus, there's the era chachma that's taken. Das wird aufgetan through kriyas shem. Es ist kedem at kriya gam be'elam le'imatz metzias makir eres hanetzal. But the kriyas Hashem is nasa helam chulu. He's often the Alter Rebbe, the suffers of Terer. Mechalik shom ben akeres ba'adam aklulim benefesh. So there's sheyesh tam akapan behelim be'ez eifin shiyeh. Masheikin shmei he brings dugum of skip the brackets. Shmei shel adam. She'eni kol kach behelim be'kedem shekru. That's the dugum when you get to shem adam. So in the sphere sheben esaf so in kriyas shemes. Yeah, he touches up a little bit further. Yeah. Here. Look at the Lashon later. The line starts B'chinas Gilei Ha'er. Just stick with this Lashon. Yesh Beis Madreges. Okay, lama learn the Ivri Bizdart. Also here he says in the brackets, he says, "Makamachem avor the shlema shnevesh naatzmin yisek kol hakechis hain rak mashadim mitzusi be'etzim minzu hakechis yishlema shnevesh keni nechelis anal." Means he calls this inyan of shemis yechelis for spheres. Aderech like this is in kechis akulam benefesh nefesh nesek kechis. Kechis akulam benefesh is you have the kechis the way they are in the nefesh. So mitzias of chacham v'chesed. There's the way the kechis are klulim benefesh. Nefesh nesek there's no kechis. We're dealing with the nefesh. So what's the pshat? But the nefesh is not is mufshit because the nefesh is not mugder b'meila kan zayin keiches. It's a different union. We're not dealing with keiches. It's not the sheidish keiches the way it is in the nefesh. We're dealing with the nefesh himself. Mitzat pshitas hanefesh is nicht mufrich. He's not mugder that there can't be from him eilis. You can't define him. Not that. So we're dealing with the nefesh. The nefesh is zamet zarzach, which you can't limit him that he's lacking keiches. So that's the inyan of Echel. We'll see the. I mentioned yesterday. You see Nechelis and Keach. Keach is you have already a scholar of that inyan. You have the scholars. You have the inyan in the very dakas the kaifin. Nechelis is we don't have that scholar of that inyan. You're dealing with the makir. You're speaking the makir as amasar zach, which you cannot limit him. You can't say that he cannot have a certain inyan. It's a different inyan. That's Nechelis. Means the nefesh is not defined. And therefore, you can't be shelo from the nefesh keiches. That's different. That's a different word. See, Alder is here also. There's no shadish of there's no spheres. There's Ein Sof, but Ein Sof is not mugder. So you can't say that Ein Sof there cannot be chachma. There cannot be chesed. That's Kamen Zog because he's yachol. He's not mugbal. But not that. So if Vivad is not mugbal, so that's not a schol of chachma. If he's not mugbal, so if you can't be shel from him, it's calling you Yechelis. Yeah, but let's just see the Hemshech. So in Asfira Shevet and stuff, so I'm getting Kriya Shem. So we're going to this whole inyan, even the Eifin of Esfiris, in the Eifin of Kriya Shem is called a Shaykh Lemer Baalei Saratz and Lahatzel. Os Shaykh in Asfiris, only Baalei Saratz. Question about Parashah Sachsol Perigim Mazal Sheni Kikasher Oliver Tzene Lahavis or Lahatzel. Shas was Aliyah Saratzim for the Mitzvah Savel for the Investor Spheres. Oz Netzav and its Tayer Kuli Batzmus. Oz Daik means Laachra Aliyah Saratzim. Mitzad Aliyah Saratzim Netzav and its Tayer in of Spheres. Mashe Enkein Mitzad the way it is Mitzad Atzme. Before the Aliyah Saratzim is not shy to say as Spheres, even a even of Shemes. Wait, because of Sham Vidam Tzisa Yichad Vamakar Azen is Galmat B'chinish Tzene Olatzis. Kemeklen fin his world from Mashkos B'Scham Mikmeshemis. Gamkin with Dafka Bali Suratzim. Al said Etzemer Le Shaykh Lemer again. Kiyuv Tachsab Shittis. Sheremin Amar. What is he saying here? He's saying even in of Kriyas, even Spheris, in a of Shemis, the air Lifnei Ali Suratzim is not Shaykh as Sheinim because the air is Pashav Tachsab Shittis. He's not for something else. If he's Pashav Tachsab Shittis, can out sein. It's not Messiachas as Spheris, but there's no Indian of Spheris. It's pshitis. Misat pshitis can all sein. Misat pshitis is one that could the pshitis. Ein Sof. As a spheris is not Ein Sof. As a spheris is Eser. It's Gvul. And the shadish for gvul, even in Eifin of Shemis, even though the eir itself stays, what are we saying? We're saying that even Lachar Kes HaShemis, the eir stays the same. There's no shinu. It's only that once you have the name, and even but before you call the name, the eir is the same stuff as before. But Ava became in order to say in this eir that mikenem onru from B'Shem Chacham. Under the time with Dvaran Chacham, yeah, is dafka through all these saras. Dafka misad dargam all these saras. Mashegem misad the eir, the way it is misad atzmei, azay in ichet in shaychus.
There's a change. I'm saying at least.
That's what he's saying. I mean, only mitzad the leiser doesn't shayt l'seis hachini. So the me'etzem eir l'shenech l'mikin. I mean, he says, "Ki v'tachas hapshitis she'er mein amar." The Meir is tachas hapshitis. There's no yachas to gvul, no yachas to tzir. Shlilas hametzias, the tachlis, the ultimate pshitis. The ultimate pshitis has no yachas at all to gvul. Any yachas you want to say, so whatever the yachas of shemis is, but you're saying that shemis is shin uvgetan, that if you're going to call him chachem, v'zayin chachem. That means we have to understand what happened over here. But there's already an inyan that if you're going to call him chachem, it's not going to be anything. There's going to be a slapshis and chachem. There'll be an eir hashaychas the spheres of chachem. Tzad ein sof is pshitis. Tzad ein sof, so there's no metzias of chachem, and he has no shaychas to chachem. You say he's not mugder can alt sein. There could be anything, but not a yachas to gvul. Inyani is bli gvul. Inyani is the expression of the pshittis of the Eibishter. Gvul is not pshittis. Mitzad ein sof is pshittis. Heipechatzir. And there's no yachas in this nesvakim klal to gvul.
It's not part of the pshittis.
Huh? It's part of the pshittis, not a gather of chachma. It's all the can alt sein, not a gather of chachma, not a gather of 10. That means there's anything. But that there should be a mocker for a hatzalah of chachma. That means that the eir should be nislabish and nitzdair and the tzir of chachma. Mitzad the eir is pshittis, not chachma, and it's always going to be regash pshittis. Saying Ein Sof Sphere is a whole different. Ein Sof Sphere is that it's nirgash in the ribui that they're neveh mitzad pshittis, mitzad blikvol. But that should be nirgash in of hatzalah sphere as a chachma. That's not shaykh mitzad Ein Sof. Because in Yoni is hepechatzir, hepechapshitis. We're talking about the air the way it is bispashtus. It's in Yoni is to express the air mein amar, the Eibishter is tachas hapshitis, and the air is tachas hapshitis. Oh, so let's see what he says here. Alan said, "Etzem erlei shaykh le'emerken ki hu b'tachas hapshitis she'er mein amar." Let's just see weiter. Let's see, explains this in. Just look at the lashon weiter. Vim kein. Rei b'chinas eir kamei sheba be'izgalas es be'ez madrigas. Ha'alef kedem she'ole bertzeni lahatzel v'livrei. She'nishayach shem b'chinas firis klal. Va'beis k'she'ole bertzeni lahatzel. She'azeh adei arotzen es hava sheish markul esfiris. V'hainu she'yeh b'yechelis li'is markul esfiris. Also a gather b'yechelis. Yechelis means there's no haschala for spheres. But misad is pshitis. If it's misad is pshitis, so why dafka lacher eliyas arasin? He says, "Kumishmar the such the friends leish misis spheres klal. Kima der kriya shemish. Hayno shadei kriya nasa makar vahel. Zeh b'chinas eliyas arasin sham b'chinas yechelis lis mekeda spheres adei kriya chulu. Aval kedem eliyas arasin u'lamay legam b'chinas yechelis zu. So much cost of the Banish was said the Bereshach Spheres, El Shleish Misperl Spheres, Zeo Gam Bereshach Kedem Aliyas Arasim. Aliyas Arasim Shia Eser V'Leitesha. Was it B'chinas Aliyas Arasim B'chinas Echeles as Spheres? Al Be'etzemer Kedem Shalom Bertzeni Mash Bichot Il Have Spheres in Ketz. Shaz was the pshat. If we're dealing with Yecheles, and Yecheles means that the Mitzad the fact that you can't say that the Etzem is Mugbal. Not because there's a yachas to the sinyan. So if it's not mugbal, so what's going to resign esres for this? I'm saying with this, I think we spoke about this. I mentioned yesterday the mashal. There brings the mashal of the mayim. Even when you say yechelis, You see, because he's not defined, therefore you can't limit him and say that he's not shaykhs to something. See, when you get there's two, the water with the images there. The fact that in the water, any image that you're going to show of it's and in the vast, it's not because there's a mucker in the water for all the different images. Because the water has no color. If something is mufshit from a tzir prati, so he's able to be expressed through any tzir prati. He's not limited. He's not defined. If something's defined, so he has things, so how to sein tzir. If an Indian is mufshit from tzir, can all sein. But then you say, if can all sein, so it could be a chachma also. But if the Indian is not an Indian, but it's helping Yechelis. The Gabi mitzad ein saf mitzad atzmei, there's no musik of elements. There's no musik of tzir. Mein amar, the Eibush is tachas pasha b'tachas apshitis. The whole gather of tzir doesn't exist. The whole gather of gvul doesn't exist. It's kein Indian nicht. So even though the ein saf is pshitis, so pshit, there could be anything. But not in of gvul. Gvul is not a mitzvah. The er mitzvah is mufshit legamri from the Indian of gvul, from the Indian of tzir. The fact that tzir is a mile that's nischadish through ratzon. Mitzad the fact that all the birds say it, there should be esesphiris. Mitzad them givarn an Indian from esesphiris. Once there's the Indian of esesphiris and the air is not mugder. V'bal the air is not mugder, so once there's the Indian of esesphiris, is a nish mugder can sein das echet. But before Alisa Ratzon, the in sub mitzad atzmei, the guy says the whole gather of gvul doesn't exist. The fact that there's a marker for Indian of Esther, of gvul, of chachme, that's because Oliver said that there should be a velt. Mitzad the kavana b'lis elemis. Mitzad Ratzon, because for a velt is velt gevarna Indian. So what the Chash Kriya Hashem says is not that the air is now the air is in a lower is not pshitis. Is mitzad alei saratzin. So now once in this Chadosh Gevar that there's a musig that there's an Indian of spheres. Mitzad was the fact that there's an Indian of gvul that's Hemshech mitzad the air guf. It's air mitzad. Air mitzad minyan is pshitis betachlis. And the Eibush mitzad is mufshet legamri from the gather of tzir. The whole mile of tzir is kemailanished. Once there's oliber tzeni lahatzel, once there's an Indian through the alisa ras, there's an Indian of tzir, there's an Indian of gvul. So then is neschadish gevarn that b'meila is a shaykhs to say that and the air is not mugder because it's not mugder. So laachri b'si gevarn a mile from gvul mitzad the air is not mugder. Can sein the Indian from he could be in a slavish gvul too. He could be Meir b'gvul. You say in a Hachodesh that ein step shlemus the kula. Hemshech the keach bebulti ba'vul keach the keach b'gvul. The question is, you have someone is able to as a keach bligvul. There's no limits. He says, im tema shesh the keach b'gvul tem chas shlemus. If once you have a mitzvah of gvul, you say you have a talmud. Once is already a talmud that if the Rav can be mitzamsim eseichel, the Talmud is not going to understand. So once there's a Talmud, there's a mile to be able to be magbul, the Svar. To be able to have a Agbala. But Eibsvot is given a Talmud. Mitzat seichel itself, what's the mile of having Gvul Melchat? Gvul Achor is lahaktin is adover. What's for a mile for Amichlach? It says, Kshem Shtegech, im le'at mechazish lemuseh. You can only say that the header Gvul Chazish lemuseh, Gvul is an Indian. But either Gvul is an Indian, so what's happens mechazish lemuseh, you have Gvul. Where's the chisaron of shleimus? So the fact that there's a mile in gvul, there's a mile in the air being niskabel v'pnimius in mitzias, that mile is nischadish through the kavana, through the ratzon and elamus, the ratzon in mitzias elamus. Mitzad atzmai pshitis is not tzir, hepechatzir. And the whole kud that gvul is an Indian is only because Oliver saying. Not because gvul intrinsically is an Indian legabi gvul. Gvul mitzad atzmai doesn't express at all pshitis. Ta'amitis pshitis. The pshitis is the gamri mufshit from gvul, and the spheres are not mashed of anything. Once there's a kavanah, there should be a mitzvah of elamis. So mitzad oliber tzayne there's a gather of elamis. Once there's an inyan of Elamis, so the air can echet nimshach not tzir from Elamis because the air is pshitis. But that's mitzad the tunu of Alisa Ratzim. It's not mitzad the air mitzad Atzma. It means you need to have both. In order to have a correct understanding of the musik of Sphiris, you have to know that that mitzad Ein Sof mitzad Atzma, the whole gather of the mile of Chachma is kemailinish, and the mile of Pnimius is keninish. It's only Ein Sof. The fact there's an inyan that the Ein Sof should be neskabel with Pnimius is only because all the Bertzene there should be a veld. Not the L'chatchila Ein Sof is a zamesert inyan, which the Gabi him Pnimius is a mile. The Gabi him is tachas apshitis, and all these malas are milas and mitzias. Ein Sof is love is atzil sasir b'shava mamish. Vanti gevar mechad there's era gvul because there was a ratzin alakus for gvul. Once all the Bertzene of alakus there should be gvul, so now it's how the ratzin is gvul gevar na inyan because that's the Eibish's ratzin. There should be gvul. And once Gvul is an Indian, so Ishen is Chaj Gvar in their air, that is not Muk. But you need the Indian that the air mitzad Atzma is Mufshe therefore. You need that. If you're missing the Indian, the air mitzad is Mufshe therefore, so the Hergish and Sfira says the Chacham is an Indian. You're saying, it's Nirgash, what's Nirgash Lefnes? The Be'etzam Chacham is Kein Zachmish. The Milo Gvul is not a Milo. And Ein Sof Etzam, there's only him. There's no Milo, there's no this Milo, Yenem Asa, the Nord, the Rebish Taralim. Aylupa, you're saying that he also has an Indian of Shemis. There's a Shaykhis the Chachma. That mitzad him, they can say gvul. That's so l'chura is a mile of gvul. It's a mile of pnimis. It's slapshus in chachma. That's because the kavanah there's a ratzon for elamis. Not because be'etzim gvul is in India. Val azayter gavot. That the kavanah is it should be elamis. Once azayter gavot, it gavarna Indian and the middle the air could also be nimshach and azamas rotei fenechet. But it's not like after alisa ratzon, so we could forget about the. It's always that mitzad atzma the whole gather of the gvul is only in mitzad ratzon. That's always nirgash. Not mitzad the.
Saying for the water, the reason why the water can't do something besides for reflecting things is because it's moved to being reflecting.
No, it's not only reflecting things. It can reflect the image of things.
It can't drive a car, right? Why? Because it's only reflecting.
It's because in that in it's mug. No, it's only not defined in respect to colors. It's water and not something else. But I'm saying it's.
The image is not. So why is it not shot?
No, but I'm saying, but we're saying something else. The Eibush is not mugdar, so there could be heder agdol, not there could be Indian of Eser. It doesn't exist. If the Teichen doesn't exist, the Eir Inyani is Hepechatz, is only him. From Vanti Gevar, there's a mile of Gvul. Where did that come from?
Gvul means not the Eibush.
There's an Indian. There's a mile of Chochmah. Not Pshittas means there's only him. He has no tzir. There's a Lakus. The Lakus is beyond anything. So when that Indian is Bezgalus, there'll be a mile in Chacham. Are you chelis for Chachma? Is there chelis for anything? What does chelis for Chachma have to do with the Eir? Eir in Yani is Pasha B'Dalas Apshitas. The Chachma in Yani is an Indian. We're talking about Eser Spheres. What does Eser have to do with Pshitas? You say Pshitas could be anything, so there could be anything. So it could be Spheres, it could be other thing, not Spheres. So it's not that mitzad Pshitas Chachma is an Indian. What do you mean? Why not? What's his Yachas the Chachma? It could be anything. So it's not because he's Pashut, not because Tzir is an Indian. We're saying that he's Pashut without a Pshittas. We're not saying that there's a Shaykhas to Tzir.
The Indian is a steer to Pshittas.
Of course. You're saying Indian of Gvul.
So what's the idea of Pshittas?
Hepech Hatzir, Hepech Hagbala.
That's Bligvul, not Pshittas.
Hepech Hatzir. Pshittas means that there's only him. Without any definition.
Higher than Bligvul Angvul.
Zolzan is it? But not that it could be that Chacham is an Indian, but there's only him, that's something else. So it'll be Nirgash Chachma that there's only him. When this Indian is Meir, so it's Nirgash that there's an Indian of Chachma. That there's only him. There's a mile that a Lakush should be massive with Chachma, Mechates is such an Indian. That's, of course, yeah. So the Oliver Tzen is such an Indian.
Opportunity to be in, something that's not there.
Yeah. He says the Indian of Aliyah Saratzen is only Shaykh in Ur. Means this Indian that, let's say there should be a mile in Pnimius. That attacking Mitzad Aratzen. But that Indian is only Shaykh in Ur. Ur, which in Yani is Giloi, there could be if all the birds say There's an inyan of gili in such a eifin, or a gili in a different eifin. There's mitzad there could be already a tnua of this eifin of gili and that eifin of gili. That's a nazi. Mashikin in atzvos is not shaykh to say that there's an inyan besides for him. In atzvos is done our atzvos. In since we're dealing with the inyan of gili, so there could be mitzad alei saratzin a mile and a gili b'pnimis, or a marker for the musik of gili b'pnimis. Mashikin mitzad atzvos is the ganze in atzvos.
How is the essence means no Eibishter?
No Eibishter?
Meaning the fact that it's not a gili of Eibishter, it's not an expression of Eibishter. Same.
I'm saying a pashta zach. Chachma is an Indian or it's nothing? If Chachma is an Indian, then it's not. I understand, but I understand. Why Chachma? Could be anything. Why Chachma? Where do you get the word Chachma? Why dafka Chachma? Why not tables and chairs and cats? And I'm saying, where are you following Chachma? So you're saying that Chachma is a musik. Where did that come? The Eibishter is pashta of shittus. There's no inyan. Mitzad the Ratzon of Elam is something else. We're not saying mitzad Oliver Tzeni, so there's an Indian. Once there's a musik of Elamis, so now there's a mile that it should be begili also on a eifin of pnimis. Because if he's only beifin makiv, so then he's not meir betachlis. So that Indian is only shaychas and air. So once there's a makir for esses fir, and the air is not mugder. The air is not mugder. Can resign beslapshas pnimis echet. Not because he's shaychas the pnimis, not because the air is shaychas, but the air is mufshetak. But once there's a makar for the Indian of Elamis, so now since Hachodesh geworden dem Indian that the Eid is not mugder to be in a certain eifin of gili. He could be in a gili b'pnimis also. Yeah. I mean, Ratzin means whatever. When you say Ratzin, you're saying that on one hand you're saying that mitzad atzmai without, say we don't have really, the musik of Ratzin that we have is we don't really have. Ratzin is that without Ratzin he would be mushit from the Indian. Mitzad the Ratzin there's a shaykhis to the Indian. Okay, we're married such an Indian. Mitzad the Ratzin is a shaykhis to the Indian. Be'etzem there is mushit legami from the whole musik of Sirius. Mitzad the Oliver Tzeinei, the kavanah in a lakusa should be elamis. Mitzad that is in the elamis. But Ratzin means there's kavanah misavik ishbrachol is a dirib tachleirim. That's another zach. Ratzin is that in the early shaykhs that say that elamis is an Indian. This musik and elamis that there's in that you can only say in air. That's not chayni. That's nicht as negeda.
And the Ratzin, where the word Ratzin come with, is there makar Ratzin?
Pnimis, it's because Nisavik Hachodesh Baruch Hu Lisa Direi B'Tachleinim. That's the kavanah pnimis. But it comes out in the tzir of Ratzin. That's only shaykhis in the air. The kavanah of Elamis, the way it is in Atzmos, it's not a gather of Elamis. It's that Atzmos should also be in Elamis. That's all the kavanah of Nisavik. Mashekin in air. So there's Ratzin means that la'achri she'oli b'Tzeinei the Tachton is an Indian. Stefus Makim has some type of there's a kirja between the Elyon and the Tachton. And the Tachton is already an Indian mitzad the Elyon. That's mitzad Oliver Tzeinei. Mitzad Nisave is a whole different Indian. Mitzad Nisave, even la'achish Nisave deriv Tachtenim, there's no gather of Elamis outside of the kavanah. So Ratzin is a different. There's unverstehen, but that's not chayin. Yeah, that's Yana Pratla, but let's focus on this detail. Yeah, is that this? It says, "Va'beis k'sholei b'tzein l'hasel she'oza adei haratzin is have a sheish makar l'sfiris. V'haina she'i b'cheles li'is makar l'sfiris." It means in the. We'll see what he says in the next memory. He says another word like this Indian. Okay, mit sein später. Yeah.
The Atmos in Shaykh Ratzon.
Good, that's Ratzin. There's Atzma Shaykh, which is higher than Ratzin, but Ratzin is that mitzad the air. There's Elamis expresses him somehow. There's an Indian in air which can be nizgala through Elamis. There's some. I mean, Ratzin is a there's some yachas between the Elyon and the Tachtin. What I'm saying is, when you say Ratzin, you're saying that there's shaykhs to say that the Tachtin, his whole Indian could be mitzad Elyon. What I'm saying is, you say Ratzin could have a keli. You have chveis an adin and eved, so you have a rav and talmud. The talmud is a keli to the seichel rav, and eved could express the keich haratzon of the rav. Let's say ratzon is in certain tnuah, certain teikef hanefesh, a certain tnuah of pshitas which could be expressed through an inyan. It's not atzmos shlilas kol hatayla. Ratzon is that is a certain tnuah of pshitas. So in it's shaykh to say that the inyan of eses firis, once there's a ratzon for eses firis, so you could have elements the way they are a prat and bligvol. Now the bligvol wie can sich ausdrücken the pshitas of alakus that Eberville he could also be moving. He could also be in establishing pnimis. So Mr. Oliver Tzeni were saying that inyan of eses firis could lepayel express the pshitas. He's not mugdir, and if he wants, he could also be in a tzir of eses firis. And that to me, you can say, okay, that's enough. Let's not go into a separate discussion. This is was in the parsha. Let's focus on this scene. V'hainu shivachos leismak l'sfiris k'mishbar liv and shiv l'sfiris leish mitzvah sfiris klal k'ma dar kriya shemis. V'hainu shadei kriya nasa makar v'elam so b'chinas alis ras and shom b'chinas achilas leis mekei sfiris adei kriya chum. Aval kedem alis ras and l'mali gam b'chinas achilas. Amar ashkos v'rabbeinu nishbasei. It's in the Ksav Yad of the Piנחs that the Be'er of the Ksav Yad Arab the Be'er shaykh sfiris shleish mispar l'sfiris yeshleim shezeh gam Be'er shekedem alis ras. Yeah. It says in aliyah saratzon who she as relatation. Well, there's a b'chinas aliyah saratzon b'chinas echelis as sfiris. Aber be'etzem kedem shali b'tzei nicholu u'mash b'chot el havet sfiris in ketz. Das ist ähnlich. Lassen wir sehen ein bisschen weiter. Wenn nimmt so these nekudas, some of them is going to explain more some more emek in the beginning of the next Maimer. So it says when nimmt the b'chinas shmei agod, that means the shmei shel lifnei tzimtzum mesh beis madreges. There's Shemavaya, the way Shemavaya is la'achar tzimtzum. Here he's saying Shmoi, the way it is lifnei tzimtzum. It's two madrigas. Ha'alef mitzad atzmei hu in sof mamish. That means mitzad the etzem ha'er. Mitzad the madrig of the er gufa. This is one of the nekudas that you speak about Sfiris, the whole shakvatar between the Maharal and the Rambam. It's someone said it brings there that the Rambam held that hu amad hu yedeh hu yedua, that the Sfiris are miyuchet with the etzem. And the Maharal said the Haz Shaykh says with the Eibishter is lo yugder b'meh. How could they be a musik of chachma, of mada, yedea? All these inyanim are not in mitzias b'chlal. By Nevrayim, some mada is a shleimus, yedea is a shleimus. So the way the Rambam says it is kaviyochol the Eibishter is tachas a shleimus. Hu amada. This who is not limited to any any chis. He has no chisan. He has tachas shleimus. So hu amada, hu yedea, hu yedua. He's tachas a shleimus. And the Maharal said the whole musik of shleimus is in Chachodesh. The Eibishter himself is lav leis mashavet fisabe. Kadosh Baruch Hu is he's higher than any in Yon. And it's the Eibishter himself. There's no musik of chachma, of mada and yedua and yedeh. So what does the Alter Rebbe say? The Alter Rebbe says that Natzilis eskimu chachma kabbalah. That was the Alter Rebbe saying that go on Perikistania. That eskimu chachma kabbalah to the Rambam, Natzilis, but the Rambam says who amad is eskimu the Ramak in Natzilis. What's the Alter Rebbe Zachra? Means the Rambam, the way the Maharal is quoting the Rambam saying is Alakus Madas in Evrayim Madas a Mitzias, Madas a Maila. The Gabi the Eibishter is also a Maila, but the Eibishter has the in of Mada with Arak Bolis, the Tachas Hashlemus. And that the Maharal said, who said Nechetes and Madas a Maila B'chla. By us, Seichel is an Indian, Madas an Indian. In Alakus, the Eibishter is Leis Machshavet Fisib. The Eibishter, we have no. The Eibishter is beyond any inyan in the way it's Nizgal in Seichel Adam. What Al Rebbe is saying is, Eibishter Mitzad Atzma is Ein Sof Taka. Mitzad Atzma is Ein Sof. But it's nirgash in the spheres that Ibervil, Mitzad Ratzin, there's an Nekudah Chachma V'Chesed. And once Mitzad Ratzin is Nekudah Chachma V'Chesed, the Eibishter is not mugder that he has to be Mizgala Dafka Natzir of Shlilas Chachma V'Chesed. He can be Mizgala also within Chachma V'Chesed too, because he's not mugbal. So, but what's nirgash in the spheres? That the fact that they exist is because Kachal Bertzeni. And once, if the whole, so it's a whole different Havana of who Amad B'Hayideh. The Alter Rebbe is saying is not that in Atzilis the who is a who of Milas, is that the same who that's Pasha B'Talas Apshitis Mitzad Oliver saying there should be Spheres, so he's not mugder that he can't be Mezgale Beifim Pnimi. This who, what's nirgash in this who, that Spheres is Kemitzistish, that Eivish is Pasha B'Talas Apshitis, that Gufa can be Meir in Chachma in who Amad B'Hayideh. It's not stam that in itself mitzad atzma is l'may who's the sphere is b'chinas Chabad, and that ihu that's melubash in Mada, according to Alter Rebbe. So it's a whole different avana than the pashtus of the Rambam. That means that the who, which is mereim esnas reim in ketz l'may who's b'chinas Chabad, that ihu is not mugder to be meir dafka in a way that Chabad can meir zem b'pnimis in Chabad. And forget the whole inyan of Chacham v'Chesed is that this Ein Sof zol echet meir zayin through Chacham v'Chesed. Not live with Pashas of the Rambam. That Chacham v'Chesed and that still Chacham v'Chesed is an Inyan. It's that the who should also be Meir also in Chacham v'Chesed. Because it's nirgish in the spheres of vanity gevar Chacham is where's the makar? Because Kachal Bertzeni. Be'etzem the Eir is mufshe therefore. The Kachal Bertzeni. So there's Chacham. It says here. It says the Eir mitzad atzmi the Eir is in Sof. But Abbei is mashenichla b'keich kam kikeich asfiris mitzad ratzin. This is talking about Shmei HaGadol. So this is Havaya b'nikad Elikim. Shu b'bina. Havaya b'nikad Elikim is, we're not dealing with, there's Havaya the way Havaya is b'nikad with Havaya. There's Havaya b'nikad Elikim. What's the pshat? So he says, that's this, what's Havaya b'nikad Elikim to Sfira Sabino. Havaya is Eir, that's it. Havaya is Hayev Yeh Ke'echad is the Eir. The Eir is the Gili Apshitis. The Gili Apshitis of Elikus. That's the Eir of Atzilus. Shem Elikim is already in of Vol, in of Tzir, that's the Keli. And the Kelim im Gibuvchines L'Naran. Vu Heip Tzachadin, that's Chol Sakel is Bina. In Chachme is, the same you see the Mashal Nefesh Adam, the Chachme is that the Eir HaMuskal is Meir Kameshahu. It's not the way it's misyashiv in the person's klei. Yeah, the chachma is that a person is in a tnu of focusing and concentrating to hear what the muskel is, what the inyan is. Not it should be misyashiv. He should process it that it should be misyashiv with his way of understanding. There's a keich and seichel to focus and to concentrate what the inyan is. That's the keich bittel. The called Talmud Shein says in Eitz V'Smer is if there's one if someone's being mekabel, he wants to process it right away. Then it's not shaychus to hear the new thing that the Rav is saying. Then there's another if that he's in a state of concentrating. He's not thinking about his malach hasich. His meich is in a state of bittul concentrating what the Indian is. Chachma is not that the eid is mislabish in the keli, in the tzir akli. It's the kli is in a bittul to be margish the er. Mashiach Bina is that the Indian should be Misyashav in Kelim. Miyashav the Eir in Kelim. The Barak HaMavrik, or the Indian that was Meir through the Bittul of Sfiras HaChachma, through the Bittul HaKeli, should now be to work to be Miyashav it in your Klei HaMavrik. As the Sfaras Harav should now be understood in the Klei HaMeichin of the Talmud. So it's Havaya B'nikad Elikim. It's the Eir the way it's the Melubash in Kelim. So he says like this. Kinadei Bina who is chaber sa'ir makeli. L'cheinu avay b'nikad elikim. She's mer l'achibur er b'kli. Av chachma nikra avay levat ki sham rak iv v'chayei echad. L'mayla m'chinas gamei kelim d'naran. Yeah, chachma is m'chinas chaya. It's higher than kelim. There's like this. Does that shem avay l'achar etzimtzum. There is a yuven gamkin chinas shmei agadol. So Amar Azal, Shmei HaGadol is the Shem Havaya the way it is Lifnei Tzimtzum. Mash Amar Azal Shalini V'rei Lema Yushmei Bilvad. That's the Shmei the way it is Lifnei Tzimtzum. Yeshgvei Gamkin Beis B'chinas. Dugmas Havaya B'nikad Elikim. Means Hainu Shemitzad Atzmei Hu Erin Sof Mamish. That's a market B'chinas Seva Kalam. Seva Kalam is that the Eibush is higher than Mitzias. Meremu Misnasi from the Gather of Welt. There's only him. There's no Chachma, no Chesed, no Inyanim, no Shmailis, no Shleimus. The Eibush is beyond Gvul, beyond the Mitzias Eilumus. That's the Makar B'chinas Seva Kalam. It's Erin Sof Mamish. Omnam Kol by Gamkein Sherish B'chinas Amal Kalam. Which Amal Kalam is the way the Eir is Meir, not in a Eifin of within Gvul, Eifin Pnimi. But Meir B'chinas Gvul. Was there any Sherish Asfirish B'Eir? B'chinas Zu, and they should all the Bersenili Sherish B'chinas Asfirish, that's it. So I'm for the Rebbe touches here that he means Havai B'nikad Elikim, that the fact that there's the through Alisa Ratzin, there's a market for the spheres. It's not another Inyan. It's the same Eir. The Eir mitzad atzmai lechatchila it's a zamesert Eir which mitzad atzmai is mufshit from spheres. But if he wants, can an Hemshech ver mekvolechet. It's not a separate. It's not a separate Inyan. Means. It's the Sherish Makar for Spheris is not now, once it's a Leisa Ratzin, so there's, so to speak, a Yerid in the air. Mitzad the Leisa Ratzin, Spheris Gevarna Inyan, and mitzad that is there's Inyan of Spheris. That's also the Hemshech to the Ein Sof of the air. That's really connected to what it says in the next Maimer. That the Amitas Ein Sof is that he's not mugbal to the Inyan of Pshittis. It could also be in Tzir. So the Alei Saratzen brings out if the air say it's not the air is not mugder to be dafke himself. It's a that's means pshittis, but he's not mugder, and if he wants, there could be a makom for gvul too. Gvul is echayin. Yeah. I'm saying in Pashtus, the Alei Saratzen is a yerida. Say mostly just to bring out this point. It's not a yerida, but it's a yerida. You see the mashal chassidus. You have two efanim in Ratzin. You have one. What brings out take for Ratzin? You have one even take for Ratzin is expressed with them that ein lachodavar ein dufnei Ratzin. Or Ratzin doesn't have to be. He's not mishchashiv if the Indian makes sense or not. Not mishchashiv at tamadas. When a person wants something, whether it doesn't make sense, or will. That's one eifin to take a Ratzin. He's not mischashiv. Person has a svara, so the shlemus of the svara is that he's going to have a midas towards it, that it's a verstandig and bina. I mean, the Ratzin doesn't need to have any hatzdaka for a Ratzin. It's the Nevesh is mufshit from being, he doesn't have to suit with anything. He wants, if this is what he wants, nothing's going to limit him. So what expresses the take of Ratzin that he's not mischashiv with anything? There's a take of Ratzin, he's not limited in any external rules. That's one eifin. You have another eifin, a bit of keich haratzin, is when a person wants something, tchonas advarim is, when a person wants something, so not that he's not mischashiv, even if it doesn't make sense, ervil azeh, and he's not nispal, from the fact that seichel has a kash on it. Fakert. When someone wants something, because ratzin is there, a stark zach, when a person wants something, the pile, all his keiches are matzdik the ratzin. And a mensch will azach, so he's going to start finding justifications in the seichel for it. And he's going to start to it's a different type of mila. There's one eifin brings charis take for ratzin. You don't say when a person has a svara, it doesn't have to stick. When you have a svara, it could be something else, sometimes also. But if you have a svara, so it's going to be mechayiv that all the keiches should be mastic the svara. A svara is a svara has been kemi. When someone wants something, so the ratzin is the take for ratzin is going to pushes the person that all this keiches should be mastic the ratzin that he has. There's two ifan bit ratzin. One ifan bit ratzin is that when someone wants something, there's no mitzias has it fisa smokim the umas ratzin. When you want, so all other cheshbeinis are cancelled. Another ifan is when you want something, you're going to make sure that all the different types of keiches suit the ratzin. It was under a certain inyan. So bechitzeni is the second inyan is a lower inyan than the first inyan. But there are klal. In order to say the second if and when is that? If you have a person that legabi him seichel zachshivus, and it's nicht past them to do something hepech haseichel. Seichel tevis makam bei him. So he has a ratzin in was in how is he also has ratzenis. But since we're dealing with a person that keiches are mitzias by him, so the take of ratzin is going to be expressed in the fact that all the keiches will be matzik the ratzin. Mashik and some of the legabi him seichel zachat chilin ishkin shivus. So by him zok zacharez the ratzin that there's not tefis makam tani. He doesn't have any need to be masim dein. When there's a need that the keiches shouldn't be a stira, then it's a take of ratzin, the keiches won't be a stira. So that's b'chitzein is tzirida. This can be here also. He's saying, "Misad Oliver tzeni this is tefis makam tevelt. Once it's tefis makam tevelt, so the air is not mukbal, and it could also be nisgal in a way that's not shayla the mitzias elements. But b'chitzeni is the fact at least ratzin is tzirida in there. Mitzad the air kameshu there's no mitzias of spheres. Shtak in Indian. Mitzad Oliver tzeni so there's an isnasmakim to elements the gvul. Once it's an isnasmakim to gvul, so there's a mile. And the air is doch not mugder. So in was wird sich eisdrück in the headrak ball of the air, that it can be established in pnimis. Not that he won't be mischashav with the gvul. That he can be nimshach begvul. You said that Nikud Elkim is saying that the nikud it's not a lower target. It's all one pchinah. It's all one Indian. Fakir, the fact that through the Alei Ratzin, that there is a musik of Alei Ratzin, and there's a makkah for gvul, mit them brings the pshitas of this air. Then it said atzma it has no sheiches to gvul at all. It's mufsha the gamri from gvul. But Eberville can does eir sein. He's not mugder to be an eif of pshitas. Eberville ifaransir. The Alei Ratzin brings out the tachas of pshitas of there. That his pshitas is not a stira to the fact that Eberville there could be an itzimis makom to gvul. If it would be without Alei Ratzin, that one would be lechatchila the air is not so pashut. Chachil is a sheiches to gvul. You're saying the air said that's his pashut with tachas of pshitas, but he's not limited to be in a form of pshitas. Eberville there could be gvul. Versteht the Indian? It says the next number, and this Indian is because since the Erbe Pnimi Yusay is Gilead Etzem, and Atzmas is Shlilas Abligvul. So how is it expressed in there? That the Erbe said Atzmi is Pshitas, and if Oliver Seni there could be Gvul. We said Atzmi is Posh Lalas Pshitas, but the same say like Abed Ebesh himself is Shlilas Kol HaTeirim. Even to say that he's Muvdal, he's Mushla from that. So how is it expressed in there? That Eberville there could be Gvul too. He's not mugbal to the Indian of Pshitas.
That is a chiddush for something that's not the Pshitas. That's not the Gvul, no?
He's not mugder that Gvul is not an Indian. If he wants Gvul, he says Shlila Sashlila, wasn't Shlila Sashlila. He's not mugbal that things have to be mushla. Mitzad him there could be Indian and Chachma. The Ebesher is not limited to being a tzir of pshitas, of mufshit, of only him. Only him means only him. So if he wants, Gvul is an Indian. That's this Indian that. No, I don't understand why you just said.
If he wants, he's not the only.
Is it shaykh to say that the Ebesher is mugder in the fact that there can't be chachma?
That there can't be something besides.
If he wants, it could be anything.
You can't say the Ebesher can make something that's going to be not the Ebesher.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that there could be something else. We're saying that there's no definition in him. And if he wants, if Oliver saying in the Lukus that Chacham should be inside him, Chacham could be in Indian. We're talking about all inside him. I'm saying at the end of the day, the fact that there's a Alisa Ratzin of Chacham, that's all to express the Amitas Apshitas of the air. We're not saying there's an of Chacham outside of that.
What is the idea that there's a Chacham? So before that, the idea of a Chacham is to be an Indian.
Okay, we'll see in the next number of this prat. We'll see in the next beginning of the next number. I'm saying let's touch it up in the next number of this prat. It's in of Gili, in the Spashtas. V'gam kedem shall be saying lahatzlo shaykh belemer makru b'chinas evkalam. Yeah. Aval Erik Mishkol b'moir, it goes back to the first pchina that he's speaking about. She'ein shem b'chinas mitzias klal. It's not a mitzias of air, not a mitzias of Spashtas, not a mitzias of Gili. V'lo yesh sham shum davar zulas atzmos. So it's not a mitzias of Gili of Spashtas outside of atzmos. It's the Yecheles ha'atzmos laher. There's no metzias of gili outside of atzmos. That's what he's saying. It's atzmos. And atzmos b'yecholti laher. There's the air the way it is, atz Yecheles laher. Yeah. There's hazen shech lemer megam makar l'sei v'kalam. Ubchinazu hu shmei u'shmei hu mamish. Yeah, you see what he's saying here. It's not a gather of ispashtus. It's hu shmeish. It's the cheles ha'atzmos laher. We spoke about it yesterday. There's the air the way it is in the dark of a cheles ha'atzmos. Let's just see the b'zeh yuvan. This is Lamer Zen, maybe just to see it's just the Hemshech to the Indian. Then we'll b'zeh yuvan. Ashkazu v'ayis hakedesh chelik al perek beis. A pirish hayu hu shmei levad. What's the Shema to Yishmael Hashet Naveitz HaKadosh? Ma shekiblu b'zabali aved ish and pi ish. It's a Maseidah. Ki kadosh shenetz l'atzilusel yin hayadein yochid chul. Hu u'shmei bilvad. V'akavana b'shmei rum mayla hanikra aver kadmin. Atam shteit yoloshn ki yu kadmin ki gadmuseh. Shmei is rum mayla. It's called aver kadmin. And this was is kadmin. It's kadmin ki kadmus of the Ebershter. Kadmus of the kus. So the das of the Avedas HaKadosh is how he explains what Kiblu is about the Aveda. That there's a darg of Shmei, which is Kadim Kikadmusai. He says that's the B'chin of Keser. Vikshal Zara Makich Nemer Al Keser Shu B'chinas Kadim Shegam Keser Al Amir Itzof. Leitachol Lemer Zakat Chodesh Al Ganda we explained before. Remember Shmei B'chinas Ratz. Gam Azel Tikin Arbi. Ratzun Gam Kim Hus Prati. Yesh Gam B'chinas Mus Ratz. Mashma Atzin Sheikh Lemer Zis. Knav Devei Chile Avayas Hayom. K'mesh Yikshal Zebesiv Sharir. Shmzen Natam Dazis Mitam Din Kadim Kim Musu Husi Vatzmusai. So he was native Achlaf on this day of the Baalei Aveda, the Ramak. After Mashne is Bar Khan, the Bchina Shmei Bchinas Eira Meir Me'amor, the Afilu La'achar Agilis Posh B'Tachas Apshitis, who L'mayla Adain who Sfiros Protius higher it's Tachas Apshitis because Meir Amor. Commission is world. The Gamba Lis Rashi Shmok Lis Fiz and Rak Shmishims. Shediz Nasa Helam. Aval Kem Shikru in Mitzis Gamba Helam. Koshin Kedem Lis Rashi and Shechin Lis Fiz Klal. Let's get this right. Ki Posh B'Tachas Apshitis Meir Amor. It's Tachas Apshitis. Rak Shmei. What's the Rak Shmei Ziva or Shein Arich Legabe Etzma Amor. But Hari Inkan Shumu who's Dover Zula Samar. There's no the whole. It's the Spasha Samar. The Ha'ara is not another Mitzias. That's the Gili Amar. It's the Blikvo of the Mar. So there's no more who's Dover Zula Samar. The Kash of the Ramak is first of all, how could they say when you get a prat that it's kadmin? A prat is a Hachodesh. Mashek and air is not a mehus prati. Air is pashas b'tachas apshitis. No, tachas apshitis. Tachas apshitis is not a metzias in his chadish. But he says nachazach. There's no mehus outside of the mar. It says gili amar. But yes, even the base area called b'mar. If you want, as well as when it's called this darge of air called b'mar is that's the yechelis of atzmos. Yechelis shalamar l'harim menu air. Yechelis atzmos l'harim menu air. Harim kein harim inyan hu shmei kumei hu levad. Sherek and shum davers klal zula samar. Mashe b'yicholti l'hair. V'zeu shnikr shmei. That's why it's called shmei v'lei air mamish. Kumei should be gilei air nikr air. Because it's cham chosif rakabala air in sof. That's good. Aval ikr b'china shmei k'shekol b'mar. Shnikr shmei v'lei air. Ke'eshach l'kezik should be gilei. Al b'edi b'helim batzmusim mamish. The way it is not shnikr ak yechelis. Hariz kamosh l'Hashem k'shein kair lev hu b'fnatzmi. Har ein Hashem k'mchinas air. V'ein karak mus v'atzim sodim. We say someone has a name. You say that it's a metzias. It's the person. It's him himself. The person is not mugdar, something else. But there's nothing outside of the person himself. Like Mashiach b'choti liftes the kair b'shmei. Kachu inin shmei Mashiach b'choti sher menu air b'chinas ein sof. So the fact that the Eibusher is Yochel is Nishkin Chiddush, that there's Yechelis in Atzmos for air. No one's going to say that there's no Yechel, but that the air hates the Chandar. There's the air the way it's called on that. That's the ufta that he's saying here. I will think B'chinas air klal. The fact that Atzmos is B'choti L'hoir is Kadin Kadmusi Mamish. V'zemur Chlemer Ken Shakei Chazeu Kadin Kadmusi Shalin Chadash Chazashon Dover B'Atzmos. B'chinas Atzmos Yesh B'choti L'hoir. Yes, it means it's not shaykh to say that Atzmos is beyond air. He's b'yecholti, there should be air. It's not shaykh to say that Atzmos is in a mode and he's beyond air. That's not shaykh azagman in Atzmos. So mitzad yecholti l'hoyer, he's yecholti l'hoyer tak. That's what he's saying here. וזהו בשמי קדן, לכבין השמי, כמו שכל בעצמוס, אין מבחינת מסיס מוזדה וכלל כלל, כי מהחייל שבה עצמוס להר. זהו קדן ממש קדן כדיסבור, כי קדן מסיס בור. ופיס רחולים השניגר, אין צוף, ולאין לתחילו, היינו מבחינת ערב הגילי. אז זה סגלס לפועל. אבל שמי הכל במויר, שדין החייל לבד, מבחינת זו אין נקרא ער, כי משמי, ואנסתק קדן מוסי. ער אין צוף, בעצם on the שמי is אין לתחילו. Because the shmai is that Atzmos is Yachol. Atzmos is Yachol. And that's not his Chodesh. Lamata, you don't say that the Etzem is Yachol. If the Mitzad the Etzem, there could be later as Pashtas. But the Etzem is Mugdar to be in a Tzir of Etzem. But Sheikh in the Maila later is Chodesh Shum Dover by Atzmos. You can't say that Atzmos is the B'shas Sefer Gilui. You say before he's Begili, the Gilui doesn't exist. Then you're saying that there's Nischadesh something. Atzmos is not Mugdar Klal. So even before the Gilui, when you have him, nothing is Hachodesh. Mitzad him does everything, and there's air also, but not a getter of Gilui. Is that Atzmos Lachatchila is not Mugdar? It's a different union, and that's the Eresh Nechol B'Atzmos Samoyer Mamish. That's Katan Museh. Ba'ater Zeger. Okay, with Anibin the we'll finish the pasuk here. Yeah, we'll get a bit weiter. Okay, da, ja, wir gehen ein bisschen weiter in der Pneume der Maimor.